Hopefully that will record. Yep.
So welcome. So we're going to, where are we going today? Bit of a flow. So I have been doing planning, but it's in my head. So I've got a few ideas, but I just thought we'd enjoy where we're moving with the Hatha Yoga. And also I'd like us to enjoy the vinyasa as well. So the vinyasa we're doing slightly slower at the moment because we're working on the strength in our planks, in our chaturangas, and that's going to help us with our practice. So I think we're going to start today in downward facing dog, but a really easy downward facing dog. The reason we're going to start there is we're going to go into a little sequence that then will connect us with breath and movement. So we're going to find a stacked back position just to start with, as we're going to move into this downward facing dog. So find your stacked back position, and it's lovely to see some faces. You've been away, it's great. Even if you are slightly tanned, we'll get there. But it's lovely, all glowing. And what we're going to do from here, just take a moment with cat-cow, inhaling, and connect with that breath, exhaling. Maybe tucking the toes on the inhale. And untucking them on the exhale. On the next one, we're going to inhale. And on the exhale, draw your belly really into your spine. Bring back to neutral spine. Walk your hands out slightly. And what we're going to do, we're going to tuck the toes and draw ourselves to hovering cat. From hovering cat, we're coming into our downward facing dog, where we're going to connect our breath. So we're going to push the belly to the thighs. So we come into this hovering crouch position, and then slowly stretch up as far as your legs are comfy. They don't have to be straight, and walk your downward facing dog out. Anchor the hands. Activate the arms, so the shoulders start to activate. Push away, so belly towards the thigh. Relax the neck, sit bones to the sky, and inhaling and exhaling. You can always take movement here, so you can take your downward facing dog wider in the hands, wider in the feet if you wish. Just softens the legs a little. Bringing it back to a resting breath when you're ready. Remember to keep weight even between the hands and feet. And then we're going to come up and over into a plank. Holding our planks, activating the arms, push away, push into the heels. Inhaling and exhaling, draw the core up and in. So keep that front body really, really tight. Knees down if you need. And then we're going to bring our knees all the way down, sweep back into child's pose, and just take a gentle stretch here. So you can stretch the arms if you want, or you can just allow the arms to be soft. Breathing into the back. And then we're going to play with the flow. So come up and just take a moment. So we're going to use downward facing dog in the flow. You've done this before. And what it does, it's a really nice way of connecting the inhale and the exhale. So I'm just going to take a moment. If you need to just anything or have a wee sip of something or give the hands a bit of a warm, bit of a rub here, you can do a bit of a shake. Yes, I need to ask them to sweep again, Vicky. I know, it's grass tonight, so it's okay. It's like, oh, lots of grass. Right, so we're going to come into downward facing dog. So we're going to just draw ourselves using that same movement. So really bending the knees, drawing into downward facing dog. We're going to inhale as we come up and over into plank. We're going to exhale as we come down into child's pose. We slide our hands back. Inhale all the way up to a camel variation. Exhale all the way to tabletop. Bringing yourself slightly forwards. Inhale, might want to tuck the toes into cow. And then exhale all the way back into downward facing dog. Take an inhale here and an exhale. Inhale, plank. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale with the flow all the way up. Exhale all the way forwards. Bring your body weight forwards over the hands, tucking the toes, inhaling into cow. Exhale to downward facing dog. Take an inhale and exhale here. And next inhale, we come up and over to plank. Take the exhale to child's pose. Inhaling all the way up to camel. Exhale all the way to tabletop. Inhale to cow. Exhale to downward facing dog. We're going to come up and over into plank, but then back up into downward facing dog. We're going to step to the top of the mat, so all the way to Uttanasana. Now, when you're here in Uttanasana, you can keep your knees bent if you need to. Inhaling flat back, but airplane arms to the side. Exhale, and then inhale all the way up. All the way back down to mountain. Okay. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back, airplane arms. And then sweep all the way on an inhale all the way up. Exhale to mountain. Adjust if you need. So a lot of movement with breath tonight. So hope, pardon? Oh, I'm so sorry. I haven't had my, that's all right. I can't smell it if that's any consolation. So Vicky's had fish for dinner if you're online and you've only got half the conversation there. I haven't had my dinner yet. I always leave it till after on a Thursday. So, but then again, I always eat late. So. Inhale, lift. We're going to forward fold, however you want to, coming all the way down. Inhale, flat back, airplane arms, just a different way of sweeping all the way back up. Hands to the heart. Take a moment here. And we're just going to play with a little flow. So if I get this right, we're going to do it a couple of times on one side and a couple of times on the other side. So take a moment in mountain, find your balance. And also we've been working a lot in the last wee while on keeping the balance of the left and the right. So equal kind of weight, making sure that we're doing the same amount of practice on both sides. So we're going to inhale, lift. Exhale, fold, softening the knees. As we rise, we're going to bring the right leg up into one-legged mountain, really slowly. And here we're going to come, sorry, it's my fault. I'm on that wobbly bit. We're going to come into warrior 3. Arms extended if you want to, or arms behind, wherever you want to be. And then gently, we're going to lift the left arm and just gently keep the right. So like a little quadricep stretch. So we've been incorporating balance into practice as well. Back to warrior 3. Stepping all the way back to high lunge. Open to warrior 2. And here we're going to lift the hands to the sky and straighten the front leg, lifting the front toe. Coming into little Skandasana at the back, you might wish to open the foot and coming into a high, so it's a side lunge rather than a really low Skandasana. That's it. So we're getting into stretches here as well today. Inhale, lift. So that heel at the front. Exhale, warrior 2. Pivot on that back foot and we're going to turn all the way forwards. Hands to the heart, keeping our balance as we lift back up. Can't do that in one, to one-legged mountain. Back to warrior 3. Back to one-legged mountain. As we come back, we're going to come into that little quadricep stretch, which is almost like a dancer, but a little high dancer. Back to warrior 3. Step back into a high lunge. Open to warrior 2. It's a little infinity flow. So this one can go on, but we're not going to do that, obviously. And then inhale, lift that back foot, the front foot. And then into little Skandasana at the back. Straighten that back leg all the way up. And drop back into warrior 2. Let's activate the feet. So maybe push the feet together, feel the inner thighs go. Inhale and bring the tailbone in. And as we turn, we're going to vinyasa, but slow. So turn to your runner's lunge. If you've got 2 blocks, is anyone 2 blocks or just 1? That's okay. I'm just going to show you a vinyasa as well. If you've got blocks, you can do this vinyasa on blocks as well. To step back to plank. And let's hold plank. So let's have a strong plank here. Gives you a bit of space if you're using blocks. Any point, come down to child's pose if you need to. Now you can choose to chaturanga with the knees down and take a little variation, or you can come to a full chaturanga, flip into up dog. So take a vinyasa of your choice, gives you lots of space. And then meet in downward facing dog. We're going to come up and over back into that plank. Take a moment here in plank, nice long line. Another little vinyasa, your choice. Might be chaturanga to up dog, it might be to bhujangasana. And then back into downward facing dog. And then knees all the way down to the mat. And just take a little child's pose here. Or a pose that suits you. So if that's just coming upright, that's fine. Allow yourself to come into a resting pose. And then gently bring yourself up. Come back to downward facing dog. Really slowly. So really activate this pose. Tuck the toes, hover the knees, push the belly towards the thighs, lift downward facing dog up really slowly, activating the body. So don't let those arms sink. Activate the arms. Inhale over to plank. Exhale to child's pose. Inhale to camel. Just arms outstretched in the version. Exhale to tabletop. Inhale to cow. You might want to tuck toes. Exhale to downward facing dog. And then either step, hop, jump, float to the top of the mat into Uttanasana. Maybe take the hands gently to the elbows into dangling pose. Allow the head to just relax so the back of the neck is relaxed as well. And we're going to just come up slightly differently. So we're going to really press into the feet. Keep our weight over the toes, and so we're not going backwards with our weight. Inhale, exhale, draw the core. So you've got support, softening the knees, and then root to rise. Allow yourself to gently come all the way up. Head up last, really slowly. Allow yourself to come just into mountain and pause. Just pause with the breath, just if you need. Take a moment here. Maybe take the gaze inward just for a moment. I'm going to work the opposite side now. So anchor the right foot, lifting the left to one-legged mountain. I'll try not to wobble, so don't look at me, Grant. It's not guaranteed. And then to warrior three. Draw yourself gently all the way back to that one-legged mountain. Use the core as well. Feel free to move if you need. I'm going to drop the left hand just gently into that little quadricep stretch, keeping the knee facing down rather than letting it come out to the side. Back to one-legged mountain. Back leg to warrior three. Oh, losing the plot tonight. Tell it's nearly the weekend. And then we're going to step back to high lunge. I inhaled as I step back to high lunge, as I exhale into warrior two. We're going to inhale as we lift up through that heel. Maybe turning the back foot slightly out. We just allow ourselves to come into a high side lunge. Straightening the back leg, inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, sink to warrior two. Pivot, allow yourself to come all the way forwards, high lunge. Hands to the heart as we come to the top of the mat, one-legged mountain. Reach the hands all the way up. Bring yourself to warrior three. Your variation might be the back leg isn't so high, might be a full warrior three. Inhaling one-legged mountain. Little variation. One-legged mountain. Don't worry if you're wobbling. This is really hard balancing. Exhale all the way through warrior three. Gently drop that back foot. Give yourself lots of space to rise up to high lunge. Exhale, warrior two. Maybe just push the feet together. See if you can activate the inner thighs. Inhale, lift, bringing the heel up. Exhale, sink into a side lunge at the back of the mat. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, warrior two. Take a moment here, look forwards. And then take, if you've got your blocks, you can play with the vinyasa. If not, we're going to just come to runner's lunge. Allow yourself to come to plank. Now you might want to just take a pause here. If you're wanting to pause, then please do. If not, then we're going to hold our vinyasa. So really think about that kind of top body coming in and up. Then we're going to come to your version. So either knees down and to cobra, or you come to chaturanga, dandasana, to up dog. Meeting in downward facing dog. Back up and over to plank. Again, take a child's pose if you need. Chaturanga or bhujangasana, to up dog. To downward facing dog. And then all the way down to the mat to take a child's pose. And take a moment here where you can stretch the hands to one side or bring them behind you. Just take a little bit of movement here if you need to. And then when you're ready, very slowly come all the way just to seated. We're going to just take a moment just with a little bit of a twist before we go and play with another little routine. So I'm going to come into Dandasana. If you've got a blanket, feel free to sit on the blanket. We're just going to play with a twist here in the middle of our practice this time. There's a method in my madness. So we're going to just allow ourselves to activate Dandasana. So tucking the tailbone underneath us, allowing back of the legs onto the mat, and then the toes towards us. Right leg's going to come over, and your option here is to leave the left leg long or tuck it behind, so whatever your preference. And then the right arm's going to come all the way up, and then instead of just twisting the lower back, you can use two hands to do this. We're going to turn, so that we're turning. So what we've been doing, those who've not been in the last couple of classes, is that space, that thoracic spine bit across your back, middle of your back. We're actually moving there, okay? So that's going to help us with our twist. And just to practice that in a static position, allowing us to come towards our knee. So you're going to the left. That's all right. There was a 50-50 chance I got that one right, Vicky. Oh, and then you can take a slight bind here if you want to, by drawing the right arm inside the right leg and taking the left arm behind you. You can also, in fact, I don't think I've got this flexibility tonight, but you can take the right arm in front of the right leg and catch into a bind if you wanted to. It's possible. You don't have to. It's just an option. It's not for everyone. Oh, you did it, Anna. I've got long arms. You need to be Mr. Tickle. He was the one. We had this conversation, didn't we, in one of the classes? He was one of the Mr. Men with long arms, wasn't he? Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Laura's laughing. Right, okay, and then come all the way back to Dandasana. We're going to reset. There is a, you'll see why we're going to do a little twist in a minute. So nice reset. Coming back to center. And just feel, and I naturally went to press my legs down there just to get a nice stretch through the back of the legs. And then we're going to come to the opposite side. So left leg's going to come over, right leg's going to come behind me. Thinking about that twist again. So we're not just turning where we end up turning a lot at the waist and the lower back. We're actually turning from a different part in our spine. Are you feeling that across like the midline? So instead of just, if you try it both ways, so you can bring your hands down and turn, and you might feel there's a bit more stretch in the side of your waist. Okay, that means that you're actually turning a little bit lower. But if you're using a top body to rotate, so now we're turning, we're kind of using the thoracic spine. Okay, that allows us to come into position a little easier, maybe. Just playing with it. Cool. Taking whatever form of a bind that you want to, if you do. One side's easier than the other. So the bind is the left hand in front of the leg. It's my side's quite tight, so it's not for me on this side. I can do it, but it's playing. And then allow yourself to unravel, stretch out again. Give the legs a bit of wobble. You might want to come to butterfly if you want to. Come to little Supta Baddha Konasana. No, that's reclined. Baddha Konasana, that's butterfly. Oh, that wasn't good, was it? Sorry. I said the word. I think it was nearly on its last wee journey while it was on the radiator. So. And then we're going to sweep the legs all the way to the side and we'll come up to our stack back position. We're going to take a circle of the hips here. So we're just going to allow some movement into the body. Use that cat-cow, that to just move the spine one way and the other. Just working with your breath. And come to a pause. Tuck the toes. Come to that little hovering cat where we engage the core. So hover your pose with the inhale and the exhale, drawing the belly in. Inhale. And when we draw the belly in next on the exhale, we're going to draw ourselves up to downward facing dog. We're going to step or hop to the top of the mat into Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back, airplane arms. And then draw all the way up. Interlace the thumbs. Cross to the left, just drawing a stretch down the side body. Inhale all the way up. Exhale across to the other side. Inhale all the way up. Arms gently behind us. And then just drawing the chin, just a wee stretch. And then bring yourself to mountain. So we're just going to play here. So bringing that idea, that concept, which we've been going over a little bit, of moving. So when we're moving, so when we'll play with it, but we're wanting to move using the midline. So right across. It's easier to say for the ladies where your bra strap is, but then the gents. So you know where I am. Just there, right? So we're going to inhale, lift. And exhale, we're going to sink to chair. Now in chair, I want you to inhale again. And on the exhale, draw that core in, which is going to tuck your tailbone. That's it. We will move slightly, hands to the heart. We're going to inhale, and we're going to use that motion to take a twist on an exhale. So that thoracic kind of spine motion across the right-hand side. I'm going to inhale back to center. Exhale across to the other side. So just practicing that motion. So you shouldn't feel it in your lower back too much. You should feel it midway. Back to center. Inhale to the other side. Sink a little deeper as you're doing this to the center. And then all the way across to the other side. All the way back. Push through the feet and just give everything a bit of a shake out. Nice shake of the legs. So we're going to bring this now into, and things I've been introducing is the revolved pose. So if you have a block to hand, or if you want to borrow one, you're very welcome to. It might help you in the revolved pose. Would you like to borrow a block, either of you? Yeah. Do you want one, Christian? Yeah. I'll show you where to book it. I don't necessarily need one. So, right. So, no, I'm fine, actually. So put it on your right-hand side for the moment. I think that's where we're going. Hold on a minute. Yes, that's where it needs to be, right-hand side. It's 50-50 chance. So what we're going to do, we're going to come to now, knowing that we're going to step back into this pose, then it's probably best to have a little bit of a space. So you're not too neat. Okay. So give yourself a little space. Inhale, lift. Exhale, Utkatasana, chair. Inhale. Exhale, draw the core in. Hands to the heart. Inhale. On an exhale, take your turn to the right-hand side, your thoracic spine. That's it. Now, as you're going to do this, if you feel that you can catch your left arm to your right leg, that's great. If not, just hold this as a high pose. So we're going to just release the left heel. And we're going to step back into a lunge position. And with that revolved kind of spine, hopefully you would have caught your leg and arm. If not, keep this high and you can stay here. Now, the block comes in handy because the block can be placed just by the side of your right foot. Any point this feels like it's not a pose for you, just come out of it, okay? And the revolved side angle is when our hand comes down to the block and lifts up to the sky. So it's a revolved pose. It's an opposite to what we would normally do with side angle. If it's not for you, come into a low lunge, a runner's lunge, okay? And then everyone come forwards into a runner's lunge. Take a step to plank. We always even up after revolved pose. Holding your plank, we're going to take a vinyasa. It might be a soft one. Down into Bhujangasana, or it could be a full Chaturanga Dandasana. Meeting in downward facing dog. Stepping or hopping to the top of the mat to forward fold. While you're here, swap your block to the left-hand side. Inhale, flat back. It might be arms up, your version. And then sweep all the way. Upward salute. Hands to the heart. We'll try it on the other side. Okay. Inhale, lift. Exhale, Utkatasana. Inhale. Exhale, draw the tailbone in and the core in. Hands to the heart. Inhale. And as we exhale, just turn at that midpoint in your spine. And feel that rotation now. We're going to lift our right heel, release it from the mat. Gently step back into that lunge position. And if you can catch, it doesn't matter if you can't, you can still hold this. So if you can catch easily that's when we start to go into the revolved pose. You don't have to. The right hand comes down to the block on the left-hand side now. And the left hand might come to the sky. Push into that front heel to help you really anchor. Gaze is wherever it's comfy. It could be down, it could be up. And then turn gently into runner's lunge and take a moment here. Step into plank. Maybe chaturanga, dandasana, maybe a vinyasa of your choice. To downward facing dog. Step into the top of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, all the way up. Hands to the heart. I'm going to leave the right foot at the front and we're going to step to a warrior position. Okay, just warrior one, hands to the heart. We're going to now open to warrior two. In warrior two, take a moment, just check your pose. Shoulders gently relax. Inhale here and exhale, draw that core in because it'll take the tailbone just gently under. Now we're going to come to a triangle pose. We're going to push through that front leg and come into triangle. Again, use the block if you need. You can use the block and give you lovely height. Superb. Turn to face that foot and frame the foot while you're stepping your foot up a little. We're going to come to pyramid. If you've got a block, 2 blocks, you can actually use them either side if you want to have your hands raised a little, or hands can come to the hips. If you have a block now, put the block on the outside of that foot, that right foot. Okay, and push through the feet, bring your hands all the way up into prayer. Now, lift and lengthen as we inhale. And on the exhale, come into that little revolved pose, using that thoracic spine movement into potentially a revolved pyramid. Now, you'll probably have that top hand on the hip or hands to prayer. Soften the knee as much as you need if you need to. All the way back up. Slowly pushing through the feet. Step to the top of the mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Take a moment in fold. Jump or step or hop to plank. Child's pose or chaturanga dandasana into upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Bending the knees, meeting at the top of the mat. Inhale, flat back, your version. Sweeping all the way up. Hands to the heart. Take a moment here. We're going to step back to that warrior one position. So find Virabhadrasana 1. Open to warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. That's it, Christian. So just tuck that tailbone. So don't stick the belly out. If you tuck that in, that's it. And relax those shoulders. We're going to push to triangle, Trikonasana. Again, use the block if you need. As we come from triangle, we're going to frame the foot, step that back foot up a little. It gives us a nice pyramid stance here, into pyramid. Again, soften that front knee as much as you need. Bring the hands maybe halfway, flat back, pyramid. Block can come to the outside of the left foot. And inhale, we kind of lift and lengthen a little. And then exhale, we come into a little revolved pyramid. You might wish to place your hand on the block. You might just wish to open the hip slightly, the hand on the hip. Totally up to you, or you can just keep a little revolved pose in this. Turn all the way to face the mat. Step to plank. And then draw yourself down to child's pose. Allow yourself to sink all the way back. Maybe a wide knee child's pose. Maybe you bring the elbows forwards. I was going to say, take a downward facing dog if that's what you would like as well. Namaste hands if you want, or play in downward facing dog. And then we're going to slowly all rise all the way up to stack back position. And we're going to just take a moment here. So whether that's a cat-cow for you, or whether it's that circling movement, just easing the lower back or moving through the spine. Another nice one is dropping the shoulders. So the shoulder blades gently come towards and then pressing away from the mat. Remember, you've also got thread the needle here. So you can take a moment with thread the needle. If that's for you, you can play with a little flow back and forward. So just for a moment, some movement that suits. And then allow yourself to just slide the feet to one side and come back to that Dandasana position. And we're going to play, we did this as well. This is one of my favorites at the moment, an active bridge. So we're going to come down. In fact, no, we're not going to come down yet. We're here. Just thinking, okay, I was looking for a block there over there, but you can use the blocks. So you could come to boat pose, have a wee drink if you need. So why waste the opportunity? We're here, aren't we, on the way down to the mat? So let's have a little look at boat and just maybe you don't want to do boat. And actually, you're just going to take some moments here with your ankles, doing that little nerve flossing. So I'm going to give you an option here. You should work really hard. So it might be that you are just playing with that nerve flossing, which helps you move the neck side to side and release any tension. Or maybe you're playing with boat and you're wanting half boat, or you're playing with a low to a high boat. Wherever you are, if you're trying with the high boat, eyes, thumbs, toes. So you try and get that line through. And if it's a real struggle, bend the knees. So you're kind of getting a half high boat. Maybe drawing the knees up, giving yourself a hug. You can thread blocks as well. So you can got lots of things you can do there. It's a good one to do at home. We're going to come all the way down to the mat. So a little roll down. So just allowing yourself just to come all the way down and take a pause here. Maybe that's in constructive rest. Maybe You feel knees to chest. Just take a moment. And we're going to come to a bridge pose. But what we're going to do, we're going to make sure we activate this bridge pose, okay? So I'm going to just do our normal bridge pose first. So we're going to bring the feet and bring the feet in line with the hips and the knees in line with the hip points. And just allow yourself to draw up the way, as you normally would, into bridge. So you'll be pushing through the feet, push through the hips, the front of the hips, engage the glutes, and make sure there's space between the chin and the chest. So you're going to open the chest slightly. Now, what I want you now to do is with the hands and the arms, I want you to push into the back of the arms so that you're really activating the arms into the mat. Feeling then a little extra lift and open of the chest. Make sure the chin is still away from that chest. It should give you space. And then draw gently all the way down. Bring the knees into the chest, or if you want to continue holding, you can do. Just taking a little rock and roll here. Maybe a wiggle of the ankles. And then back into that bridge position. Now, if you've got a block, you can also put it between your knees. So when you push against the block in between your knees, then your inner thighs are then engaging. So that keeps the knees together and it makes other muscles activate. And as you come up, pushing into that block, then push into the arms as well. So we start to get a really active pose. Really push into the feet. You might even want to walk the feet slightly towards you. So we've got really active bridge going on here. Keep breathing and make sure you're not tucking the toes. So really the whole of the foot is really engaged with the mat. Push a little higher with the glutes and the hips. And then back down gently to the mat. Again, either knees into the chest or a little rock and roll. And then we're going to push both feet to the sky. And then bring one knee into the body, it doesn't matter which. And then gently release the opposite leg all the way towards the mat. So just hovering to the point where your back is still flush with the mat. So it might not be all the way down. Push that foot all the way back to the sky and swap to the other side. So we lengthen one foot to the sky and allow it to just hover. Comes back to the sky. And just take that movement just back and forwards. Really slowly. Just allowing. When you finish playing with this, then, and I'm giving you this option just in case you want to stop now, is you could come into maybe a little reclined butterfly, or you could come into a little happy baby. I'm going to just come to constructive rest pose. So there's lots of options, or knees might just come into the body and that's you, and that's absolutely fine. Wherever you are, just pausing with the breath. If it is happy baby, just playing maybe with one foot. And in Happy Baby, you can push the base of the spine into the mat as well and get a nice stretch through the legs. You're stacking that knee over the hip and the foot over the knee. So you can do one foot at a time if you want to as well. And it's slightly less of a hip opener than the butterfly. Sometimes the butterfly can be too much bulk. I'm really sorry I've mentioned that word so many times. We'll go on to an eagle twist. There we are, and then I can get it out of my head. And one thing you can do, just playing on the mat here, is you can intertwine the legs into eagle legs at the knees, just for a little stretch through once, and backwards and forwards. We'll just change the subject a little bit. And then dropping one foot down, we're going to come into reverse pigeon. So cross one ankle at the top of the knee and then draw the hands underneath, coming into little reverse pigeon, where you're very welcome to extend your foot to the sky, push and pull. It can be a passive stretch or it can be quite an active one. If you're really enjoying the hip kind of stretch, you can also take your hands to your shin and then pull the whole leg into the body. Swapping sides, just gently. So get yourself into the position. Allow yourself to stretch. Maybe foot to the sky. Maybe taking that extension where you just gently take the shin. And then allow yourself to unravel. And we're going to take some time just in a supine twist. So we're going to stack, bump the hips to one side, stack the feet, and allow the knee to gently drop so that we give ourselves lots of space in this twist. And again, the shoulders just on the mat allow that kind of turning feeling. Arms can come out if you want. You can take gaze to the opposite side. Just where you're comfy, really. Just allowing the body to relax gently. Really slowly moving so that you can come to the other side. So rolling, maybe shifting the hips across to one side to allow you just to turn. And then we're going to gently bring the knees into the chest and take a little rock and roll just up and down the mat. And then if you've got a blanket or cushions that you want to use for Shavasana, please do. So just get yourself ready for a wee relaxation. Thought I'd put my relaxation in tonight. Mind? It's a slightly different one. Just take your time. And if seated is your thing, then come into seated meditation. I'm going to just be easy on my hips and I'm just going to sit, my legs extended. So gently, wherever you are, make yourself as comfortable as possible. If you're in Shavasana, you might want to rock your head from side to side. And if you're in seated, actually, you might want to just take a moment, just moving. And then start to find a position that's comfy. And then allow your attention to be drawn to the breath and to a really smooth, slow flow of the breath. The exhale is cleansing and relaxing. And the inhale is nourishing and energizing. Allowing yourself to turn your attention inward. And I want you to just think about how you're feeling, and I want you to kind of mentally scan your body, just from head to toe and back again. Pausing briefly, just if you're aware of any area where there's any tension you feel there. And I want you to kind of bring the breath to that space, wherever that is, or if it isn't, just your heart space. Just honoring those areas that might need a little bit more. And just let the whole body feel soft and heavy, as if you're melting into the earth. Relaxing the eyes, relaxing the jaw. The inhalation deep, soothing and peaceful. Feeling space inside and around your body. And just as you relax and expand, tension disappearing. Relaxing the crown of your head, your forehead, your eyebrows. Softening the jaw and your throat. Relaxing the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, the fingertips. And just let that movement of breath loosen. Softening the heart center, the hips, the legs, the toes. And take a big, deep inhale. And an exhale. And start to bring your awareness more to your body, the mat, the room. Bringing yourself back. Another big inhale. And an exhale. And then when you're ready, start to just, if you're in Shavasana, start to just move the hands and the feet, maybe starting to move onto your side, allowing yourself just time. And then really slowly, if you're on your side, just come to join us back in seated when you're ready. Allowing the hands to come to the heart. And pausing here, we're going to take an inhale and an exhale. Just with a pause. And then last, just a little gentle inhale and an exhale. And thank you so much for joining class tonight. It's lovely to see folk. And it's lovely to see everyone online as well. I will see you soon. Just holler if you need any of the classes and I'll pop you some links across and I'll get that YouTube channel back up and running very shortly. There we go. I'm just going to press record and let you at home just slide away. Nice to see you. There we are.